The rain was coming down hard that night when Marcus Reed finished his late shift and picked up his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, from his sister's apartment. Being a single dad wasn't easy, but to Marcus, Lily was his whole world. As they walked toward the parking lot, Marcus suddenly slowed. Across the dimly lit street, a young woman stood frozen near a bus stop. 3 men had cornered her, their voices low but threatening. One of them blocked her path while the others laughed. Marcus felt Lily squeeze his hand. "Daddy, that lady looks scared." He looked down at his daughter, then back at the scene. In that moment, something inside him shifted. Marcus had spent years teaching Lily about kindness and courage. Now she was watching him. Without hesitation, he gently guided Lily behind him and stepped into the street. "Hey!" Marcus shouted, his voice cutting through the rain. "Back away from her." The men turned, surprised. One of them smirked. "This isn't your business, man." Marcus took another step forward, tall and steady. Years of hard work had built strength into his frame, but it wasn't just strength that held him firm, it was the quiet determination of a father who refused to walk away. "Yeah," Marcus replied calmly, "it is." Something in his tone made the men pause. The moment stretched in the cold rain. Then Marcus moved closer. And suddenly, the situation wasn't unfolding the way those men expected. The 3 men exchanged glances as Marcus stepped closer through the rain. The young woman stood behind them, clutching her bag, her eyes wide with fear. One of the men laughed nervously. "Relax, hero. We're just talking." Marcus didn't smile. "Doesn't look like a friendly conversation." Behind him, little Lily peeked from behind his coat, watching everything. Marcus knew she was there. That alone kept his voice steady. The tallest man stepped forward, trying to intimidate him. "You should walk away while you can." Marcus had faced tougher situations in life, losing his wife, raising Lily alone, working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. 3 bullies in the rain didn't scare him. Instead of backing down, Marcus looked directly at the young woman. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She shook her head. That was all the answer he needed. Marcus took another step forward. The confidence in his movement made the men hesitate. Suddenly they didn't look so sure of themselves. Then something unexpected happened. The sound of a car door slamming echoed from nearby. An older man stepped out of a parked car and shouted, "Everything all right over there?" The 3 men turned quickly. Now they weren't facing just Marcus. Within seconds, the balance of the situation had shifted. One of the men muttered under his breath. "Not worth it." They backed away, disappearing down the wet street. The tension drained from the air. The young woman let out a shaky breath. But the night's biggest surprise was still about to happen. For a moment, no one spoke. Rain tapped softly against the pavement as the young woman tried to steady her breathing. Marcus turned slightly toward her, making sure the men were truly gone. "You're safe now," he said gently. She nodded, still shaken. "Thank you. I didn't know what they were going to do." The older man who had shouted earlier walked over from his car. "Good thing you stepped in," he said to Marcus. Marcus shrugged. Anyone would have done the same. But the young woman looked at him carefully, almost studying his face. Then her expression changed. "Wait. Marcus?" He blinked in surprise. "Yes." Her eyes widened. "You probably don't remember me, but 10 years ago, you helped me." Marcus frowned slightly, trying to recall. "I was a teenager," she continued. "I was crying outside a grocery store. My family had just moved, and I had no money for food." Marcus suddenly remembered. He had been younger then, working construction. He'd seen a girl sitting on the curb, clearly upset. Without thinking much about it, he had bought her groceries and told her things would get better. "I never forgot that," she said softly. Marcus stared, stunned. You were that girl? She smiled through the rain. Yes. And because of that moment, I kept going. But what she said next left Marcus completely speechless. The young woman wiped rain from her face and laughed softly. My name is Dr. Elena Carter now. Marcus blinked. A doctor? She nodded. That day you helped me. I felt like someone in the world actually cared. It pushed me to work harder. I studied, earned scholarships, and eventually went to medical school. Marcus stood quietly, absorbing her words. Behind him, Lily tugged his sleeve. Daddy, you helped a doctor. Marcus chuckled softly. I guess I did. Elena crouched slightly to Lily's level. You must be his daughter. I'm Lily, she said proudly. Well Lily, Elena smiled warmly, your dad is the reason I never gave up. Marcus rubbed the back of his neck, embarrassed by the praise. I only bought you some groceries. Elena shook her head. No. You gave me hope. The older man who had helped earlier listened quietly before nodding. Funny how life works, he said. Marcus thought the moment couldn't get any more surprising. But Elena wasn't finished. She stood and looked at Marcus seriously. I work at the children's hospital downtown. Marcus felt his stomach tighten slightly. Lily had been dealing with some health checkups recently, nothing serious, but enough to worry any parent. Elena continued gently. If Lily ever needs anything, any care, any support, I want to help. Marcus felt a wave of emotion he didn't expect. All from one small act of kindness years ago. And the story still had one final lesson waiting. A week later, Marcus and Lily walked into the children's hospital for Lily's routine checkup. The moment they stepped inside, a familiar voice greeted them. Marcus. Dr. Elena Carter walked toward them with a bright smile. Lily waved excitedly. Hi, doctor. Elena knelt beside her. Ready for your checkup? Lily nodded bravely. The appointment went smoothly. Lily was perfectly healthy. Marcus felt relief wash over him. As they prepared to leave, Elena walked them to the lobby. I've seen a lot of difficult things in my job, she said. But moments like last week remind me why kindness matters. Marcus looked down at Lily holding his hand. I was just doing what I hope she'll do someday, he said. Lily looked up. Help people. Marcus smiled. Exactly. Elena nodded. You never know how one small act can change someone's entire life. Outside, the sun had replaced the storm from that night. Marcus lifted Lily into his arms. As they walked away, Elena watched them go, grateful for the moment years ago when a stranger chose kindness. Because sometimes, the smallest act creates a ripple that comes back when you least expect it. And on that rainy night, a single dad didn't just protect someone in danger. He unknowingly completed a circle of kindness that had been 10 years in the making. Glowing star.